So, for all of you Vault Hunters returning to Borderlands 3 because you heard the news of Borderlands 4 being announced, check out this super awesome Moze build to essentially just nuke all of the content in the game insanely fast for yourself and make your life just that much easier. I have always been kind of a Zane guy, first and foremost, but Moze has always been kind of like my second favorite. And returning to Moze, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't believe that I wasn't just a Moze man, because she just makes everything that easy. So let's jump right on into this Deathless Boomin build. So let's start off with the gear that we're using on the setup. First up, I'm using just a free radical, because the free radical is an absolute stupid good weapon for Moze because of the insane splash damage it has. Whenever you hit a crit on a target, it's going to spawn these extra projectiles that are going to hone in on the target and do more damage to them. Also, I have the anointment while under 50% health, deal 100% bonus radiation damage. We'll explain that here in a second, but the free radical can essentially carry you out throughout the entire game just on itself. But I also have a plague bearer on this just because I do enjoy getting to just, hold down that trigger and shoot it out and watch all those homing projectiles just like nuke the entire map. This is for those who are just, again, looking to sit back and just watch everything die, versus the free radical, which is a little bit more in your face, kind of running around style weapon. For our other gear, we're going to be running an Infernal Wish, adds 1 projectile per shot when shield is not depleted, and firing weapon can cause self-combustion, which increases each Infernal stacks and resets with the second wind. Pretty much what this means is it's going to just give you more projectiles, so you're going to be doing a whole lot more damage as you are running around the battlefield shooting everybody. With this setup is a Deathless setup, so let's talk a little bit about that. So we are running a Snowdrift Deathless on this. Deathless is essentially going to reserve all of your red health down to 1, and it's going to add pretty much all that to your shield instead. Now, Moze is able to take advantage of this really, really well throughout our skill tree, so we'll talk about that here in a second. But essentially, this just turns our shield into our entire health. I mean, I always kind of think of like those Yu-Gi-Oh cards back in the day where they have no damage, but it's like all into their defense. That's kind of what this is going to be for you. To complement that, we are going to be running a bloodletter on it. If Moze would be healed, she gains shield instead. If she regenerate health, she would gain shield regeneration. So this is completely based into that. And it's also got a +5 into failing. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. But again, essentially, this is just giving you that ability just to feed your shield instead of your red health bar. And then finally, we're running a cloning mapping tracker on this just because it is just a phenomenal grenade to constantly proc a lot of stuff that we're going to need in our skill tree, making our life just that much easier. So let's look through our skill tree and everything we're going to need here. We're going to start off with the red portion of the tree because this is what's really feeding that Deathless section of our build. You want to go into things like armored infantry so that you have that good damage reduction and gun damage. Go into second tier, drowning and brass for that gun damage. That fire rate is so freaking nice. I mean, I'm, again, being the Zane guy first and foremost, fire rate is very important for us. So getting a little bit of that on Moze as well is super awesome. Thin red line for the +60% health based on our reserved and maxed to max shields. Obviously, again, with the bloodletter, this and the Deathless is all going to feed us into our shields, giving us an absolutely stupid big number by the end. Vladoff Ingenuity, so that we get that shield recharge rate, the max shield, and the shock resistance. That shock resistance is really nice just because of the fact that we are obviously, shock is just going to demolish our shield if it comes in, smacks us. So being able to have that resistance is always nice. Into the third one, we are going to be doing full can of whoop ass. Now, a big thing here is the fact that this is going to immediately recharge your shield. Obviously, your shield is the most important thing for us. I do know, though, after, I remember this like forever ago. I believe, I'm trying to remember who it was. I can't remember if it was Psychotic Wolf or Moxie was talking about how this actually gives you damage reduction after, activating your Iron Bear. So we're using Iron Cub on this setup. We'll talk about that here in a second. But again, getting a little bit of damage reduction whenever we pop it is also very nice. Desperate Measures for that extra gun damage. We obviously always want that. And then obviously, finally, that Phalanx Doctrine, getting as many points into that as humanly possible. Kill skill. After killing an enemy, Moze gains a stack of Phalanx Doctrine. For every stack, Moze gains maximum shield and gun damage are increased. Each stack lasts 30 seconds. Obviously, this is going to be huge, constantly feeding into our shield and also giving us that gun damage. This is one of the most important skills, if not the most important skill in our entire skill tree. Going over into green tree, we're pretty much just trying to, move our way down, just get a lot of these good, just incinerary base skills. So again, right here, bonus incendiary damage every 4 shots. We really like that with Cloud of Lead. Stoke the Embers for that incendiary damage. Redistribution is a huge one for the ammo regen and health regen at the same time, making sure that we're constantly, not having to really reload all that much and also keeping our health up. I just put 1 point into Scrappy, pretty much just to get us down the tree to this spot for Russian offensive. Moze can sprint and shoot at the same time. And while sprinting most weapon gains lifesteal, we obviously really need that to just constantly keep our shield up. And then just a couple of points into Scorching RPMs for that fire rate. Again, we really like that fire rate, that crit damage, and that Iron Bear damage. Purple Tree, we are only really putting anything into big surplus. While Moze's action skill is cooling down, she gains a bonus incendiary damage. Totally fine with this setup. You really don't even need your Iron Cup all that much with this entire build. You are able to do it all yourself. Iron Cup is more just kind of proccing abilities and things that we're going to need in the future. And then finally in Blue Tree, probably like one of the most important ones as well. Fire on the Skagdan, always going to be a huge one for that bonus incendiary damage. I really do like having Grizzled here instead of Explosive Punctuation for the fact that we're getting just like definitive seconds taken off of our cooldown. So we're able to activate those Iron Bear effects a little bit more often. Means of Destruction for that ammo chance and grenade chance, obviously really solid. Torrid Cross Promotion is like, again, one of those like big skills you need for that insane splash damage, and 15% chance to double splash damage radius, obviously really big. Stainless Steel Bear for all of that good Iron Bear stuff that we're going to need. Pull the Holy Pin. You only need to put 1 point into this because we are going to be, again, using that cloning matting tracker. It's going to have plenty of those like offshoot, like little child grenades. That's going to help us out. So we're able to take advantage of that Vampire so that we're getting that 8% health back with those grenade hits and everything. So again, that's just going to feed into our shield and make us that much better. 1 point into the last, so we're able to chuck our grenades while we're in our fight for life, but that really shouldn't matter. I mean, pretty much your weapons as is are going to nuke everybody, but again, always a good one to have. And then finally, the short fuse capstone. Whenever Moze deals gun damage, there's a chance of secondary explosion center at the target. Obviously, more damage is always going to be very beneficial for us. When it comes to Guardian Ring tree and everything here, obviously I have everything filled out here. I do pretty much like always having all these active. It's an option in the game. A lot of people will disable it just because they were like, oh, hey, look, my build's like this. Like, again, they put this in the game for a fun reason. I like to have it, whatever. So again, showing it off, I have everything unlocked here. And finally, one last thing to show off, I am been doing all this content in Mayhem 11. So obviously we're getting those big boosts to all of our enemies and everything, but it literally does not matter. Everyone is just getting nuked. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Again, let me know down below some other Vault Hunter builds that you're interested in seeing in the future. And also, I will have this built over in my Discord for you to take and use on PC if you have it. Those on console, again, I would just try to mash it up as much as you humanly can to make it easier for yourself. Also, give a like on the video, subscribe, become a member, and follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Byrdman778. I'm going to be covering a whole lot of Borderlands 4 and just kind of like Borderlands content until Borderlands 4 comes out. So keep an eye on the channel, subscribe, obviously all that stuff like I said before. But again, I just appreciate the love on the recent videos. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great night, day, or whatever it may be.